some lessons along the way.
Hey guys, welcome back to E7 Acres. If you caught our last video, you saw that we had some issues with the piers and the placement. Despite all of our efforts, the piers just did not line up correctly. As we began day 3 and 4, we knew we were going to have these problems, and we had to come up with other solutions in order to fix this problem.
We are on day 3. We're on day 3. We have learned some lessons along the way, which, again, expected. So, we have container number 1, which, if you guys will remember, we have container number 1, which we have named James. We've named him James. We've put Bible verses on each one of the containers. And so James has let everyone be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. James 1:19. So we got James set this morning, and we are going in for the next one. I believe this one's Matthew. I'll have to look when we get it up there. But we did pick our Bible verses based just kind of ways to bless the home and our family. And so just little words of wisdom from the Bible, which is always a great place to find your words of wisdom as far as we're concerned. So here we go, off to set container number 2. Hopefully we learn from the last 3 days with this guy. And that guy will be a lot easier to do because that guy has learned lessons. So here we go.
Setting the containers was also quite a feat. We tried several different avenues, and what we found to be the best was to use the forks to slide under the containers with the forks extended as far out as they could be, and then just would get underneath them and wrap chains to the container and the forks. Then he would pull the forks up, in which the container would also pull up. From there, it was just a lot of maneuvering back and forth and doing a lot of pulling with the forks. We were very thankful to have this machine and the ability to use it. When it came to actually setting the containers on the piers, that of course was another issue. We ended up taking chains and placing them on top of the container, so each of the 4 ends had a chain it would hook together, and then there was another chain and a heavy duty towing strap that we would use, and then the forks would hang on to those chains and strap, and we would lift them and set them from there. We were so excited to have the first 2 containers set. However, we were still scratching our heads as to getting containers 3 and 4 set. We were trying to use as much of the time as possible and utilize this week that James had off from work to get as much done as possible. However, we did realize at this point that we were very overzealous in thinking that we would be able to complete everything in this week that we originally set out to do. As we've stated before, we are new to this. Neither one of us have background in building homes. James does have construction background, but it is definitely not including building a shipping container home or moving shipping containers. So what we thought would be a pretty easy process turned out to show us that we were very wrong. However, we did not let that stop us from trying, and we just continued to learn through our process. And just like with this build from the beginning, it has been a process. It has taught us lots of lessons, and not just lessons of building, but life lessons along the way. And despite all of the headaches that the build has brought us, it's also brought us lots of laughter and memories for a lifetime.
Little bit more. Whoa. So there's piers over there that he's trying to line up too, so that we can just pick it up tomorrow and set it over there.
Moving a container to be able to, moving a container to be able to set it on piers tomorrow morning. So we're just getting lined up, getting everything staged, and we're gonna be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. We're gonna set 2 containers and receive our trusses, and maybe if we're lucky, everything will line up perfectly good, and then we can maybe set one.
Maybe day 4 will be the day.
Maybe day 4 will be the day.
1, 2, and 3 have all been a little challenging. Hello. My graffiti. Just playing around. We're going to paint it. So we are on day 4 of setting the containers. We have 2 semi in place. We are, we have a few little adjustments to make. James is working on getting one down in the lower level, just to get it out of the way. The roof trusses should be here in, I don't know, an hour or so. Totally losing track of time. So we have ran into quite a few obstacles, which we've heard of this happening before, other people who have set containers, but the piers aren't lining up right. Yesterday, so day 3, we got the second container set, and we kind of did things a little bit different yesterday, which really worked out well because it is so hot and we're struggling from the heat. We worked early morning, took a break midday, actually ate, sat in the AC, took a nap even, just a short little nap to recoup. And of course we hydrated and started back up around 4:30, something like that, and then worked until late in the night. So we still got in a good 10 to 12 hours yesterday, just broke it up. So that's what we're doing today as well, out here this morning, and then we'll do our break and work in the evening. So if you guys are in the process of doing your shipping container house or barn dominium, or whatever DIY project you have and it's hot like this, you might give that a try if you haven't already. Just some maybe tidbit of information, learn from our mistakes. So again, like I said, today attempting to set 3 and 4 now that we've learned some 3 and 4. Now that we've learned some lessons, and the truss will be here in a little bit. Some wild raspberries yesterday, and I'm curious if they are edible. So if you guys know how to tell, other than researching online, if you guys know how to tell if a raspberry or blackberry, a wild one, is edible, comment below and let me know. This is all new to us, as we are avid city folk, I guess suburban folk. So we're learning lots of things, some by trial and error, and that's okay. I think I'm gonna get a shirt that says 87 acres, and that's okay.
We were so excited and relieved to have number 3 set, and we eventually did also get number 4 set. So that was a wonderful feeling to have all 4 of them in their locations. However, as you can tell, they were not sitting on their piers yet. So what we had to do is get some blocks and some large rocks, for lack of better words, and even some railroad ties. And we used those to set them on. And then we'll be going back later to even them up and get them set on their forever piers. Thanks for watching. Check back January the 20th for our next video. See you then.